Welcome to Echoes of the Past, where history isn't just old, it's oddly fascinating.
From forgotten facts to bizarre backstories, we dig into the dusty corners of time so you don't have to.
I'm Jody Lynn, your amateur historian and full-time trivia hoarder.
And I'm Ephraim here for the facts and the fun.
So let's rewind the clock and press play on the past. From the faint crack of an ancient hand cannon to the controlled precision of a modern rifle, firearms have defined centuries of human history. They've ended empires, fueled revolutions, and inspired both fear and fascination. Today, we're diving deep into the history of the firearm, its invention, evolution, impact on societies, and the way it continues to shape our world.
Before the crack of gunfire echoed across battlefields, warfare relied on the pull of sinew, the weight of iron, and tension of human muscle. For thousands of years, projectile weapons shaped the rhythm of war long before gunpowder even existed. The bow and arrow, developed independently by nearly every ancient civilization, reigned as the ultimate ranged weapon. Egyptian archers wielded composite bows made from wool, horn, and sinew capable of piercing armor at great distances. In Asia, the Mongol recurve bow earned a fearsome reputation, compact, fast, and deadly from horseback. Genghis Khan's armies conquered vast territories using tactics that relied almost entirely on precision of their archers. Meanwhile, in Europe, the crossbow emerged as an equalizer, easier to use than a longbow. It allowed even untrained soldiers to deliver lethal bolts with immense force. During the Crusades and the Hundred Years' War, the crossbow's power was so feared that Pope Innocent II attempted to ban its use in Christian warfare, calling it unchristian in its efficiency.
I feel like that's a pretty good compliment right there.
But it wasn't just handheld weapons that ruled the battlefield. The ancient Greeks and Romans perfected siege engines, catapults, the ballista, and trebuchets that hurled stones and flaming projectiles with terrifying accuracy. These were just the super weapons of their age, precursors in concept to the cannons that would come centuries later. In the Middle Ages, engineers experimented with torsion-based launchers and even crude explosive projectiles, early signs of humanity's obsession with harnessing force for destruction. By the time gunpowder appeared, the world was already primed for a weapon that could amplify human power beyond muscle and mechanics. The firearm didn't replace bows and blades, it was their inevitable evolution.
The story of firearms begins not with a weapon, but with a powder. Around the 9th century, Chinese alchemists, in their quest for eternal life, stumbled upon a volatile mixture of saltpeter, sulfur, and charcoal, the first gunpowder. What began as a failed attempt at immortality became the foundation of a force that would alter warfare forever. By the 10th century, gunpowder had been harnessed in crude weapons known as fire lances. These were bamboo tubes attached to spears that blasted flames or metal shards toward the enemy. Primitive, unreliable, and often as dangerous to the user as the target, yet revolutionary for their time. As trade and conquest spread Chinese innovations westward, so did the secrets of gunpowder. The Middle East and Europe adopted and refined the technology, turning the concept of explosive propulsion into something deadly and portable. By the 13th century, the first known metal hand cannon had emerged in China's Heilongjiang province, a small bronze barrel capable of firing a projectile using gunpowder ignition. It was the first true ancestor of every firearm that followed.
By the 1400s, handheld firearms had evolved enough to replace bows and crossbows on the battlefield. Their earliest guns used matchlocks, a simple mechanism where a burning wick lowered into a pan of powder to fire the weapon. Crude, slow, and useless in the rain, but it gave soldiers something new, a trigger. Over time, the matchlock gave way to the wheel lock and then the flintlock, each step making the weapon more reliable and quicker to reload. Flintlocks became the global standard through the 17th and 18th centuries, and muskets dominated warfare for more than 200 years. Battles like those of the American Revolution were defined by long lines of soldiers firing volleys of musket balls, reloading in unison, and advancing with bayonets fixed when the powder ran out. These weren't precision weapons. Accuracy was poor and reload times were painfully long. But in large numbers, muskets reshaped how wars were fought. Discipline, formations, and volley fire replaced the individual skill of an archer with the uniform precision of trained soldiers. And with the musket came one of the most influential attachments in military history, the bayonet, turning every soldier into both a marksman and a close combat fighter.
The 19th century brought unprecedented change. Industrialization allowed for the mass production of standardized parts, making weapons cheaper and more reliable. But one man in particular transformed the firearm from a single shot tool into something truly revolutionary: Samuel Colt. In 1836, Colt patented the first practical revolver, allowing multiple shots to be fired without reloading. This changed everything. Firearms could now be carried and used efficiently by individuals, soldiers, lawmen, and outlaws alike. The revolver became synonymous with the American frontier, though often romanticized far beyond reality. At the same time, the invention of rifling, spiral grooves inside the barrel, drastically improved accuracy and range. Combined with new percussion cap systems and later metallic cartridges, firearms became faster, cleaner, and far more reliable than their black powder ancestors. By the late 1800s, smokeless powder replaced black powder, further improving performance and reducing the thick clouds of smoke that had once revealed a shooter's position. Firearms were becoming more than weapons of war, they were tools of survival, expansion, and identity.
Few inventions changed warfare as dramatically as the machine gun. In 1884, Hiram Maxim unveiled the first fully automatic firearm, the Maxim gun, capable of firing hundreds of rounds per minute using their own weapon's recoil to reload. It was the birth of mechanized warfare. World War I demonstrated just how devastating these weapons could be. Trenches, barbed wire, and machine guns often defined the conflict, as soldiers on both sides faced the grim reality of industrialized death. The Thompson submachine gun, Browning automatic rifle, and the Lewis gun emerged as terrifying, effective tools of destruction. By World War II, firearms technology had reached new levels of sophistication. Semi-automatic rifles like the M1 Garand and bolt actions like the Lee Enfield Mosin Nagant became military staples. Portable submachine guns such as the MP40 and the Sten gun made close-quarters combat deadlier than ever. Then came the assault rifle, the bridge between traditional rifles and automatics. In 1947, Mikhail Kalashnikov introduced the AK-47, rugged, simple, and unstoppable. A decade later, the United States developed the M16, emphasizing lightweight design and accuracy. These two rifles would become icons, one representing rebellion and revolution, the other the symbol of military precision in modern warfare.
Not the video game. Modern firearms have reached a point of incredible efficiency and precision. From sniper rifles capable of hitting targets over 2 miles away to compact pistols used for defense, firearms have diversified into countless forms of purposes. They're not only instruments of warfare, but also integral to sports, recreation, and cultural identity. Movies, television, and video games have turned firearms into symbols of heroism, rebellion, or chaos, depending on who's holding the trigger. Titles like Dirty Harry, John Wick, and Call of Duty continue to shape how people perceive weapons.
You're not tearing up my chair, forehead.
Sometimes glamorizing them, sometimes questioning them. Advances in materials like polymers and carbon fiber have made firearms lighter and more durable. Smart gun technology, though still emerging, aims to make weapons usable only by their authorized owners. And yet, for every innovation meant to improve safety, there's a growing conversation about accessibility, responsibility, and ethics. Hey, maybe he just had a thought about our firearm conversation.
No, he wants to tear up my chair. The firearms path to perfection wasn't straightforward. Between the Firelance and modern assault rifle came centuries of trial, error, and strange ingenuity. Early guns were unpredictable. Some were too heavy to carry, others too fragile to fire safely, but each design, successful or not, brought the weapon closer to reliability. One of the earliest European prototypes was the hand cannon, essentially a metal tube mounted to a stick. Ignited by a smoldering fuse, it was more likely to terrify enemies through noise and smoke than by accuracy. Still, it introduced the concept of portable firepower. As gunmakers experimented, new firing mechanisms emerged. The matchlock, first used in the 1400s, relied on a slow-burning wick. It was simple but vulnerable to weather. The wheel lock of the 1500s used a spinning metal wheel to create sparks, more reliable but expensive and delicate. The flintlock, introduced in the early 1600s, finally achieved the balance of efficiency and affordability. It would dominate for over 200 years. Yet beyond these were dozens of lesser-known experiments. The snaplock and snap-haunts, predecessors to the flintlock, tried to simplify ignition but often misfire.
Oof. The puckle.
The puckle gun of 1718, often called the first machine gun, used a revolving cylinder to fire multiple rounds, but it was cumbersome, unreliable, and never saw combat use. The volley gun, a bizarre multi-barreled weapon, attempted to fire several shots simultaneously. Its power was immense but impractical. It overheated, jammed, and often exploded under pressure.
I feel like there's a video game you and I both have that has a version of the volley gun. Because I've heard of that one before in like a video game standpoint.
The only thing I can think of is BioShock Infinite. It has a weapon called the volley gun, but it's more like a grenade launcher than it is
That might be what
a
I'm thinking about.
multi-barrel weapon.
That might be what I'm thinking about then.
The harmonica gun, a strange 19th century design, used a sliding horizontal magazine resembling a harmonica reed plate. Though innovative, it was quickly overshadowed by the revolver and the repeating rifle. And then there were air rifles like the Austrian Giordani from the 1700s, silent, smokeless, and capable of firing multiple lead balls from compressed air. It was so advanced that it accompanied the Lewis and Clark expedition across America. These experimental weapons were the stepping stones to modernity. They bridged the gap between flintlocks and semi-automatics, proving that progress is often paved by failure.
Behind every firearm that shaped history stands a name, companies, and investors whose designs defined eras, wars, and even nations.
Okay.
Samuel Colt's revolver, patented in 1836, turned the firearm into a repeating weapon anyone could carry. His company, Colt's Patent Firearms Manufacturing Company, what a mouthful, became one of the first to use assembly line production long before Ford ever applied it to automobiles. Colt's revolvers, like the Navy and Peacemaker, became symbols of the American West, carried by lawmen, soldiers, and outlaws alike. Even after Colt's death, the brand thrived, producing legendary firearms like the Colt 1911, one of the most iconic handguns ever made. There's a lot of the Colt guns that are in Red Dead, aren't there?
No.
I thought there was, because I know the Navy is on there, because it's one of my favorites.
Well, yeah, the Navy revolver.
Is that really the only one, you think?
And Red Dead Redemption 2 is the Navy revolver. And then in Red Dead 1, I think you can get a 1911.
Is it? Okay. I was like, I know there was the Navy, but I didn't know if there was more than that. Next, we have the Winchester Repeating Arms Company, revolutionizing rifles. Their model 1873, dubbed the gun that won the West, brought rapid-fire capability to frontiersmen and cowboys. Winchester's lever-action design became a cultural icon, appearing in countless Western films and carried by figures like Buffalo Bill Cody. Over time, Winchester evolved into a staple of hunting and sporting culture, with innovations continuing well into the 20th century. Then we have Remington, founded in 1816. Remington Arms began with Eliphalet Remington building his first flintlock rifle barrel by hand. That is one hell of a name.
Yeah.
Over 2 centuries, the company grew into one of the oldest gun manufacturers in the United States. Remington's bolt-action rifles and shotguns became favorites of hunters and soldiers alike, and their designs were used by militaries worldwide. Despite modern financial struggles, the Remington's name remains synonymous with reliability and craftsmanship. You get a lot of Remington ammo. I think that's the more prominent one you buy, isn't it?
Like for the lever actions?
Is it your AR that you buy at Academy?
Yeah.
I noticed you would pick up the Remington a lot.
It's because it's cheapest.
Yeah. Then next we have, emerging in the mid-1800s, Smith & Wesson, who focused on revolvers that could handle self-contained metallic cartridges. Their Model 1, introduced during the Civil War, was one of the first successful cartridge revolvers. As technology advanced, the company became a global powerhouse, producing the Model 29, a .44 Magnum revolver, and Clint Eastwood's Dirty Harry would immortalize. Today, Smith & Wesson continues to produce military, police, and civilian firearms with modernized precision.
Browning. Few names carry as much respect as John Moses Browning. A true genius of firearm design, Browning created some of the most influential weapons ever made. The Browning Auto 5 shotgun, the 1911 pistol, and the Browning M2 machine gun. His designs were so reliable that many remain in use over a century later. Working with companies like Winchester, Colt, and Fabrique Nationale FN Herstal, Browning's innovation shaped firearms across both world wars and continue to influence modern engineering. Mauser, across the Atlantic, Mauser defined European firearm design. Founded in Germany in the 1870s, the Mauser brothers' bolt-action rifles, particularly the model 1898, set the global standard for precision and reliability. Their mechanisms inspired countless rifles, including the American Springfield 1903 and the Japanese Arisaka. Even today, Mauser action remains synonymous with quality craftsmanship. H&K. Post-World War II, Germany saw the rise of H&K. Known for their innovation and durability, their weapons like the MP5 SMG, the G3 rifle, and the modern HK416 became favorites among special forces worldwide. The company's motto, "No Compromise," reflects its emphasis on engineering perfection over mass production. It should really be no pores allowed, because their shit's so expensive, and they don't sell them in the U.S. market either.
Really?
Yeah, like you can get civilian versions of them.
Yeah.
But they're like the ridiculous 16-inch long barrels, or they're really neutered. Like their G36, it's in the States it's sold as the SL8, and it's like a very neutered version of their military counterpart.
That's stupid.
Yep. Modern Titans. In the modern era, companies like Glock, Sig Sauer, and FN Herstal dominate the market. Glock's lightweight polymer pistols revolutionized law enforcement sidearms, while Sig Sauer's designs have become standard issue for militaries around the world. Not anymore.
Yeah, I figured that's why you started giggling a little bit.
FN Herstal, a Belgian manufacturer with roots tracing back to 1889, remained a major supplier of both military and civilian firearms, including the famous FNP90 and the Scar rifle. Each of these companies carries a legacy of not just weaponry, but the innovation, culture, and controversy. From craftsmanship and engineering to ethics and politics, their influence stretches far beyond the range of a bullet.
While firearms themselves may be global, how societies treat them varies dramatically. In the United States, the right to bear arms is woven into the nation's identity. The Second Amendment has made firearm ownership both a symbol of freedom and a subject of heated debate. Roughly 40% of American households own at least one gun, with laws differing widely between states. I'm going to assume that at least 20% of that 40 is in Texas.
Probably.
From open carry policies in Texas to strict permitting in New York. In contrast, the United Kingdom maintains some of the strictest firearm regulations in the world. After incidents like the 1996 Dunblane tragedy, civilian ownership of most handguns was banned. Firearms there are primarily limited to sporting, hunting, or professional use, with rigorous background checks and storage requirements. Japan takes an even more restrictive stance. Firearm ownership is exceptionally rare and requires extensive background checks, training, and psychological testing. Only shotguns and air rifles are generally permitted, and even then, the process to acquire one can take months.
In Japan, they can't even make their airsoft guns out of metal. Everything's plastic.
What the fuck?
That's how crazy their gun laws are.
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm. Even for the fake ones.
Switzerland offers a unique middle ground. While known for high gun ownership, Swiss culture emphasizes responsibility and training, with most firearms tied to military service and mandatory registration. And then countries like Australia and New Zealand dramatically overhauled their laws after mass shootings, implementing buyback programs and strict licensing, leading to a noticeable decline in firearm-related violence. In parts of Africa and Middle East, firearms are both tools of protection and survival, often existing outside formal regulation. In regions plagued by conflict or instability, gun ownership can mean the difference between life and death for both civilians and militias alike. Each nation's laws reflect its history, culture, and relationship with violence. Where one sees freedom, another sees fear. Where one might see security, another will see risk. Firearms are more than mechanical tools. They are mirrors reflecting humanity's values, fears, and identity.
Conclusion. From alchemists experimenting with powder in ancient China to soldiers carrying smart rifles in the 21st century, the firearm has evolved from an unpredictable explosion to a finely tuned instrument. It has given rise to empires, toppled tyrants, and altered the course of history countless times. But its true impact lies in its paradox, the power to defend and the power to destroy, often intertwined. The story of the firearm is, in many ways, the story of humankind's ongoing struggle with its own creation. Every advancement brings both protection and peril, progress and consequence.
before we continue, what is your opinion on the ongoing debate in America on gun ownership and the laws that need to be implemented to buy and own guns? What is your honest opinion about that without being super political?
That's hard. You can't bring up a topic like that and
Okay, let me put it
not
this way.
be political about
Talk
it.
political, but don't bash one, like the Democrats versus the Republicans. That kind of political.
They're both. The Democrats are worse than the Republicans when it comes to firearm stuff.
I know.
But it says in the big paper that they wrote shall not be infringed. So every state that has all these whack ass gun laws, you're infringing on everyone's Second Amendment, like California, New York.
Didn't Chicago specifically have a lot?
Chicago has a lot of gun rules, but of course,
not the state, just Chicago.
Just Chicago.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Where they ban the sale of all kinds of ownership of all kinds of things, but yet, who would have guessed the criminals don't care about the laws and still have them?
No, that's my thing. Like, I understand the buyback program's a great idea. There's a lot of cities that'll do it. Like every now and then they're like, oh, our gun violence is up. Bring the guns in. We'll pay you for them. Blah blah blah, which is great, fantastic. That gives people a motivation to be like, hey, here, have this. But you still have, I feel like, in my opinion, at the end of the day, you still have the criminals who are not going to give an absolute fucking shit about your fucking gun laws. That's ingrained into their brains at this point that, oh, hey, I'm a criminal. I'm going to just go buy a gun off of Joe Schmo out of his fucking basement down the street.
Yeah.
Like,
it doesn't, like I said, the criminal, I mean, that goes for anything that is illegal and outlawed.
Yeah.
The criminals do not care.
No.
They will get it one way or another.
Every time.
But like the way California restricts how you put together your AR or your AK or your semi-auto handgun, it's ridiculous. Because there's some where all of them have to have like the fin pistol grip. So fin pistol grips, and then depending on how you set it up, you can have a detachable magazine. But the only way to take it out is if you break the rifle in half. So like with mine, the two,
which is what you heard in the beginning, by the way.
My AR in California, you can have your magazine release button, but you have to push out the two takedown pins and open it just a little bit to take out the magazine all the way.
What? Okay, is that supposed to help somebody not to be able to like mass shoot up a school and then just like be able to fast load?
Yeah.
But at
that point, why not just carry multiple guns?
They show when they reenact school shootings, that's what they show, is that the guys always have multiple rifles anyways.
Yeah. Or like I don't know about New York's or Chicago's gun laws because I've never lived near either of those places, nor do I ever intend to.
New York's pretty strict. It's very similar to California.
Yeah, like banning certain capacity magazines and then having them set up in certain ways to make them featureless rifles. It's ridiculous.
What I think is ridiculous is that whole, you bought, was it a second AK or second AR?
Second AR.
Second AR, it's a fucking pistol federally, but like it's the same exact thing as that thing right there.
Yep.
Explain that.
So like, bear with me here because I'm not, like, I know a bit about it, but not like 100% the picture.
Well, yeah. So
there's a difference between having an SBR and a AR pistol or AK pistol, whatever. An SBR is still a short barrel. It's a short barrel rifle. It still takes regular magazines, and it has a stock on it. But an AR pistol, it's still less than 16 inches, but it has a pistol brace on it, but it's not a stock, so therefore it's a pistol.
It looks exactly the same.
But yep. So I could go to fucking, I don't know, let's say like a gun show or a gun store, and the difference is whether it has a different piece of plastic on the buffer tube. Or like in the case of an AK, where it's a little bit more, you have to do a little bit more to put a pistol brace on it. Mm-hmm. They just won't have anything on the back. So it'll still be a short AK, like a Draco. It's a short AK, but it's a pistol.
I like how when I don't remember who we were talking about. Was it the lady you bought it from? And they were like talking about. She's like, "Oh yeah, it's a pistol, and it's supposed to be able to be fired by one hand." And she's like trying to lift it, and her whole fucking arm was shaking. She's like, "I don't know how this is supposed to be shot with one arm. It's not like you're gonna fucking hit anything."
Yeah, gun rules are gun laws like that are ridiculous, and they get people in trouble all the time. So like, if I wanted an SBR, which is an AR or a short-barreled AR or AK with a stock on it, I have to fill out one of two different forms, submit them to the ATF, wait forever because it takes forever, just for them to be like, okay, yeah, you can have it. Give me $200.
See, I don't. There's a lot of gun laws that make no sense to me. Like, my favorite thing, and I think it's hilarious, is like you were talking about the other day of painting one of your guns because you thought it would be really cool, right?
Yeah.
And I think when people customize their guns like that, it's a really cool idea because you can kind of make it look like, say, for instance, if you're a big time gamer, you can make it look like your favorite guns from the games that we've all grown up with or otherwise. But my favorite thing is, I think it was California who made it to where if it was a toy gun, it like a Nerf gun, an airsoft gun, anything like that, it had to have an orange tip on the end.
Yeah.
And now there are people from other states who are turning their guns into Nerf replicas, but they're actual guns, and so they're putting that orange tip on it. And I'm like, y'all should not do that.
Yeah.
But those kind of laws like that, where it has to be like a certain color or whatever, I think those are kind of silly. Because if it's a fake gun and you shoot it at somebody, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
Why could somebody who doesn't have a fake gun just do that and make you think, this kid's just playing, it's an airsoft gun, it's a replica, it ain't gonna do, and then you get your ass shot. What's to make it stop? What's to stop that? You know what I mean?
I don't. What are you trying to get at?
Like, so they did it so that people could see that the gun that this kid is carrying is an airsoft gun or a Nerf gun. So those automatically have to have orange tips on them. Okay. What stops a bad person from
like just
putting the orange on the tip of their gun and going in somewhere and somebody's being like, you're not for cereal. That's an airsoft. It has an orange tip.
Yeah, I still wouldn't
see what I mean.
Well, I was still being a shop owner, seeing someone walk in with any kind of thing that looks like a gun, unless I can tell it's like a Nerf gun. Mm-hmm. If I see someone walking in and it looks like a real gun, I'm gonna assume it's a real gun, and they're gonna probably try and rob me.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's like got laws like that where they have to make it look a certain way to make it seem like it's not real or that it isn't real. I feel like are just fluff. Like it makes no sense.
Yeah, because if you can't tell a Nerf gun from a real one, you probably need help or glasses.
Or you've lived under a rock.
Yeah.
Now, the hard subject here, school shootings. A lot of these school shootings that have been coming up a lot lately are the guns are coming from the parents.
Yeah.
So no matter what kind of strict gun laws we put out there, I think it would have to be a very long discussion and a very long debate on figuring out how to stop that. But I don't think there really is a clear stop without invading the Second Amendment. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, but like with those, that's kind of on the parents for not properly storing their weapons.
Storing them, teaching about them, everything.
Well, and also at the same time, the person who did it, they're also have been are mentally ill or have been groomed online by
idiots,
people, or they're radicalized by, whatever they see on the internet too. So it's also an internet thing.
Yeah.
And it's like on top of firearm control, what your child sees on the internet.
Which, side note, did you see that people are suing Roblox right now for the whole grooming thing? I think that's hilarious. Because yes, it's Roblox's fault.
Because off subject, but it's also Roblox's job to moderate these things, and they don't do it.
No.
But it also comes down to parent, with these kids or teenagers doing these shootings. It also comes down to the parents
and not
monitoring what their kids are doing.
Yeah, I remember. It wasn't one of the recent ones. I think it was in a few months ago. It was one of the last big ones that they talked about, where the kid went in, and the parents had no idea that their guns were missing, My guy, you had it in a safe. How did you not know that your guns were missing?
Yeah.
Like those metal safes are very loud. You drove your kid to school. How did you not know that he had a gun on his person, first of all? And then the most recent one, it wasn't even a school shooting. It's the one I told you about in Utah. Kid took a gun with him on a field trip and then shot himself in front of all his classmates. How did that get past? All of the teachers, the students, the parents, everything. Like, it got past these multiple different steps here.
Yeah. Well, you, as an adult, like, how old was the kid?
He was in high school.
Yeah. At that point, like, no one's gonna really check. Being a teenager, you're also at that point, like at that stage in life where you just want to rebel against everyone.
Yeah, ninth grade.
Yeah, so about what, like?
Ninth grade is a freshman.
So 14, 15?
Yeah, I would say 14 or 15.
Yeah, so a 14
That's right at the age of when everybody starts transitioning into being a young adult. So
yeah, so they want nothing to do with their parents, nothing to do with
society at all.
Society or what's the word?
I don't know. I can't.
No,
I can't read your brain. Wish I could.
Authority.
Oh, yeah.
Where they have an issue with the authority regardless of what it is.
Yeah.
So, and then, like, and some people, like people who kill themselves or however, and they're like, oh, we never saw it coming, blah, 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 blah. It goes to be like that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just, with all these schools putting in metal detectors and stuff, and guns not being made out of plastic for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them, yes. But they're going to have metal parts to them.
Yeah, like, the outside of mine's all metal, but, like, the furniture is polymer. It's kind of plastic.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but the rest of it's all metal.
So that would have gone off.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how, because, you remember field trips. You were in high school sooner to now than I was. So you had to go into the school first, get everybody settled, and then go to the bus, right?
Yeah.
So if his school, which I'm not sure if he did, because I don't know how big his school was. I didn't look hardcore into this, but he would have had to go into the school with this weapon on him, come out of the school with said weapon on him still, and load up and go wherever the fuck they were going, and then do it.
Yep.
And nobody caught anything. That's what I'm like.
No one's gonna check.
Understand.
Yeah. But, like, we're getting a little off topic. Yes, I think
that's what our podcast is for. It's fine. We never stay on topic.
As long as it relates to whatever the episode's still
about.
But I think the government shouldn't have a say in what I own.
I am a 50-50 agreeer with you on a few different premises. Depending on what the item is, I agree. Owning the thing, fine. But how to own the thing is the part that I think needs to be regulated.
Well, yeah, but then at this, like, okay, going back to the school shoot, like, any kind of gun violence, people who don't know anything about anything and don't look into it, you have to do a background check.
Mm-hmm.
And
that checks every level.
Yeah, because it goes up to the
federal,
FBI.
Everything.
Because it goes up to the FBI.
Yep.
The FBI looks. They see nothing's wrong.
And they take forever to do this, by the way.
Well, I don't know, because with, like, my AR pistol that I got, it took quite a bit. But, like, for my AK, it took, like, not even 5 minutes.
What about, was the AK the first one you bought?
No.
What about your AR?
This one, yeah, this is the first one I bought.
Yeah.
I still had to go in, do a background check. It took, like, 15 to 20 minutes.
See, I've heard some people where it takes, like, a week before they get a call back saying that they can come and buy the weapon. So I think it really depends on the person's history or what might pop up, or, like, for instance, you're military.
Yeah.
So that probably shows a lot right there because you've already been trained, quote unquote, trained on the weapons. So it's like, this dude's safe. He's fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But then, like, people are also like, oh, well, we got to do mental health checks too while you're at it. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, if you're going to see a counselor about, harming yourself or others, then you shouldn't be allowed to have it.
See, I get that. Like, I feel like if you're going if you're going to counseling or you see a doctor for mental health, which all doctors, anytime you go for a PCP, they always ask you 6 to 10 questions to evaluate that for a reason. If you ding a certain number of points on those things, I feel like it should go as a red flag. Not say what it is. Doesn't have to tell the feds or whatever your background. Doesn't have to say what the item is. It does not have to say what causes the red flag. Nothing. But it should be a red flag.
Yeah.
And that should automatically be like either it has to be investigated more or it's a full-on no. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I agree with that. There's ways to do it.
Yeah, there's better ways to do it than instead of just being like, oh, we should just ban guns in general.
Yeah.
Because one night, all of a sudden someone's breaking into your house and they have a gun, but what do you have? A bat? A metal stick? Fuck, you're catching a bullet and you're going to the hospital and they're stealing your stuff.
Also, the people who say that you value your possessions over somebody else's life when they are the one breaking into your house are retarded. I am sorry, but if they are walking in, first of all, if somebody is walking into or breaking into your house without any kind of fucking forethought into this, first of all, they're psychotic as fuck anyways, because they are going into your house completely blind as to who you are, what you have, what you may have on you. They are going completely blind. So first of all, they're already psychotic. Secondly, they are coming in with intent to steal your shit, whether you are there or not. Thirdly, they are never coming unarmed. If they come unarmed, it means that they've already staked out your house and they already know what you have. And then they're probably not going to do it if they know you have a weapon.
Yeah.
Clear as that.
Or if they're more likely going to do it when you're not home.
Right. So if they're coming in while you are home and either they know you are home or they didn't stake you out first, you're fucked either way. You're going to get hurt. So you might as well fire fucking back.
Yeah.
Now, no, I'm not saying dome them.
I don't know.
But like, intentionally, don't dome them intentionally. But if you can get a shot off where it makes it to where they can't come at you or continue trying to shoot you, do that.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that at least?
Yeah. They
Okay.
clearly value my valuables more than they value their life.
Exactly. Like,
and I value my stuff more than theirs.
Okay. I value my life more than the person breaking into my house.
Yeah.
Fuck my stuff. My life.
See, what else can I think of? Or another argument people use is, oh, guns kill people. No, people kill people.
Oh, yeah, because spoons make people fat.
Spoons make people...
I love that one.
Spoons make people fat. Fucking pencil makes people...
Write stupid shit.
No,
people
it's not how it works. People kill people. So before guns, were people just not killing each other?
Oh, no.
Were they all just like hugging each other,
I feel
holding
like we
hands?
covered that at the beginning.
Having a drink together? No, it's not how it works. They were out here chucking metal at each other with their hands and throwing rocks before they even decided to stick powder in a tube and shoot metal faster.
Oh, and poisoning each other.
Yeah. Poisoning people, stabbing each other,
running them over
with their horse,
them to death.
torture, big rocks, little rocks,
lighting them on fire,
medium-sized rocks.
Medium-sized rocks.
People have been killing each other since
the dawn of the fucking human.
Exactly. So
this is never going to stop. This is what humankind is, unfortunately.
Yep. So
the only way to stop that is a fully utopian world, and that is never going to happen.
Fuck no.
There will always be cracks. I'm sorry to tell you. And that's not a pessimistic view. That is a realistic view.
Yep. So.
Unfortunately.
But seeing here in the great state of Texas, I can own
whatever you like.
All the firearms, except machine guns. I wish I could own a machine gun without selling a fucking kidney for one. Thanks, Reagan. Fucking dick.
All right. Now that we've covered so many different topics that will probably get a few of our listeners to stop listening. Sorry about that. As you noticed, it had been a while since the last episode from the first season of Echoes of the Past, and I think it feels good to be back. This season is going to be bigger, darker, and richer than ever before. Coming up soon, we'll be exploring the mysterious histories of hoodoo and voodoo, uncovering the real traditions, the myths, and how they shaped cultures across the world. We will be doing that in a different place than where we are now, and it will be a special episode. So stay tuned for that on Wednesday instead of Thursday this week. We'll also have special Halloween episodes that dive into spine chilling lore, superstition, and the unexplained. And that's just the beginning. There's so much more ahead. Stories that will challenge, surprise, and remind you that history isn't just what happened, it's what still echoes today.
As always, this episode was sponsored by Dubby, the energy drink that fuels our late night research sessions and keep us sharp through the deepest rabbit holes. Check out the link in the description and grab yours today. Thanks for wandering through history with us on Echoes of the Past.
If you liked what you heard, subscribe, rate us, and tell that one friend who still quotes fun facts at parties.
And remember, history may repeat itself,
but we promise not to.
See you in the next Echo.